much about the intro. Thank you. So, and also I'm currently in the office now, so if there's some background noise pop up, please let me know. I will mute myself immediately.
Yeah, I hear you.
So yeah, today, as Tori had mentioned, we will hear from Isabela, and correct me if I'm pronouncing incorrectly, and also Melvina to share their journey as a sustainability consultant and at private sector. Then we'll have a panel discussion to ask them about how they've landed in their current position, how they format preparing for the interview, and how they situate themselves currently in their current company. And then about this webinar, as Dory mentioned, this is really formed so back in 2021, we have launched the first career exchange event that have 300 people register for the event. It was really born out of the necessity during COVID to help all the IUSD and other similar master degree students to navigating their career paths, particularly in the time of COVID. And after that, we have launched a new platform and have grown our membership to 199 members currently, and we have 9 across the 13 different countries. And we also register ourselves current as an NGO in the United States and hope to seek more collaboration worldwide to support an initiative like this. So now I will turn it over to Isabela to introduce herself.
Thank you, Ling. So I'm Isabela. I came from Brazil. I am currently in Germany, in Stuttgart, southern Germany. I was also part of the IUSD group. Master thesis. I did my master thesis in 2021. I'm from intake 9. And since I finished my master's, I've been working in a private company, Transsolar Klimaengineering. Those who studied here in Germany, I think you are aware of Transsolar. We have some classes with them. Yeah, so I'm very happy to be guiding you through what I'm doing there right now and how I landed the job.
Should I click to the next slide?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So I finalized my bachelor's degree in architecture and actually engineering in Brazil and São Paulo. And in between, in the middle of my bachelor's, I had the opportunity to go abroad. So I got a scholarship to go to the US, where I did also part of my bachelor course in DC at the Catholic University, and an internship at the Housing Development Department in Maryland, where I had my first, let's say, urbanism experience in the urban field. After that, when I finished the thesis for the bachelor, I moved to Europe, and I landed then the scholarship for that to do the integrated urban and sustainable design, finished in 2021, and started my internship at Transsolar right away. And at the beginning of 2022, I became a project engineer. So they invited me to be a project engineer, and I'm being here since then. And just a fun fact, in parallel, I was also the Vorstanding for TILIA. That's the organization that organizes the Wanderbaumallee here in Stuttgart. So maybe someone knows. If you don't, we can speak about that later. Next, please. So Transsolar is a company that has been in the market since 30 years. It's kind of the pioneer in sustainability consultancy. And within the company, we have several scopes. So we try to give consultancy for architects and urban planners, developers, sometimes for the public sector, for cities and so on. So we basically take everything from the space design, from the building performance, and from the infrastructure. So we start very conceptually, how you can orient, how you can position, what you can do to increase the performance of your building. Then we go to the building performance per se, so which elements we can use here to increase your comfort inside a building and reducing at the same time the energy demand. And energy is for us one of the most important things. And then the third, we say, okay, what is the infrastructural design that we can provide within your scope? So PV planning, heating systems, cooling systems, and so on. So it's a very comprehensive in this sense. So in sustainability, we can do basically everything. and we try to do everything.
Thanks so much. That was a very quick intro, but really into the inside of what Transsolar is, the scope of Transsolar's work. Now we have Melvina. I will turn the stage to you now.
Thank you. And hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Melvina. Right now, I'm in Berlin. I'm from ISD Intech 10. And yeah, right now I'm working as sustainability consultant. Maybe next slide, just jumping to. Okay, hi. Right now I'm working as in-house sustainable consultant in the developer company in Berlin. It's quite small company, but they are considering from design and build also. So I'm in housing, supporting the team. And I'm working, to be honest, I'm working alone in this company as pioneering. But I'm working also with one working student. And then mostly I'm working with another expert that we invited to support our project. And next, I will start what I'm doing in the office. So I'm doing like normal daily basis, 9 until 4 every weekdays, and then I'm supporting, for example, like some green building certification things, and also I'm supporting related to the marketing strategy of sustainability, because the demand of sustainability for developer sector is also quite higher. Like investor mostly asking, hi, your project have a sustainability strategy, and what is it your strategy? And then this is where I'm standing to support the team, either for some publication of one project, or what is it like project exposure, maybe, you know, like when we have some project and then there will be have some explanation about your sustainability strategy of the new project. That's what I am supporting in this team. And next. And what else I'm doing, for example, like this, I couldn't share some project due to confidential issue, but for example, in the lab, I'm making some report or like a project strategy of sustainability, and also preparing some company vision regarding sustainability. So a lot of exploration, I would say, in my job. Somehow I'm supporting for like some simulation, like for example, in the GNB that's require dialect simulation. I need to consider what will be to get the requirement of dialecting regarding the size of the window, but somehow I'm also working sustainability like a branding, like what is it your project, what will be the vision of sustainability in the visioning level, in the boarding, in the high level, without knowing what will be the implementation will be. That, so a lot of exploration, I would say. Next. How I get a job. So I don't know, like I'm jumping to my cover letter, how I get a job. To be honest, I'm quite brutally applying a job, but I'm just consider I want this position as sustainability consultant, even though some company doesn't have an opening for this position. Somehow I'm just like applying as unsolicited application, like sending the application that I want this position, and then some company invite me for interview, and then they asking, yeah, maybe our company looking for sustainability support. And during the interview with the company, this is the time that I will making clear what your company expectation about sustainability, because when we are talking about sustainability, somehow it's quite border topic, and somehow they are thinking sustainability like ESG or environmental social government, and somehow sustainability related to the green building certification only. So this is when during the interview I'm like figure out what will be their expectation and my expectation. So yeah, maybe next. How is it my it's a big like a back forward to my experience, I would say. Before that, I also getting working student in Transsolar together. I have like working together with Isabela also some months. And then I also have a career break, I would say, like a gap between I get this job in BPM in Berlin. But I would say during the gap, I would say it's like a time for me to develop my professional skill and knowledge. So during the break, I'm enjoying some certification. I got the lead green credential, and I also joined some courses to support what I'm targeting to get my my job. So that's why I'm thinking that, yeah, during the gap of before you get after graduated to get your job, this is the time that you can develop your professional skill and knowledge. Next. So this is some of the gap that, okay, this is some of the gap that I invest my time to do professional development. I'm doing a lot of like some short courses, like online courses, and also I'm doing some workshop, like to finding what will be my interest, what will be the other knowledge that can support my future career, for example. And the last slide. And how I get this job, I think we need to identify what you can do, which is what you did in the past, and what you want what you want to do in the future. Like this is your value for your expertise, I would say. If we know what we can do in the past, we have some experience, either the experience during the working or experience during our study. This is also part of what we can do. We have some knowledge or skill, and then what you want, and we can like thinking what our goals for our career, and then what will be we can achieve that one. Maybe we need to do some courses, we need to do some short course, whatever you want, and this is you can find your value will be your expertise. Thank you. That's my last slide.
Thank you so much, Melvina. That was very interesting. That was very comprehensive. Like you really cover a lot of ground on the job searching process. And actually you even covered some of the questions that we're going to ask during the panel discussion as well. So now I would stop sharing my screen. And so we all can just open our camera and have a formal informal discussion. Am I stop sharing now?
I still see your screen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, so now we'll encourage everyone to turn on your camera, or maybe now we just have Melvina and Isabela turn on their camera, and then we will have a short and fireside chat about your job searching process. And well, some of the questions you already covered, so maybe I will just hopefully we can revisit some of the questions, then you can explain in detail. So the first question I have is that how to find this position and opportunity. I think previously Melvina mentioned that she was sending out like consolidation email, and I was wondering like if and how Isabela was able to find her current position as starting from internship, because like finding the proper platform to find the position is always like the beginning of the job searching process.
Like for me, it was basically what I did was to try to connect with most people inside of Transsolar that I could. So during the IST, what I was doing was taking all the extra classes with Transsolar. So I did several extra classes with them. They were offering at the Kunstakademie and I think at HFT as well. And then I could connect with several people working here. I also connected through LinkedIn. So before I even apply, I knew there was something going on. They told me that we get interns every 6 months. I think you're a good person to apply. I already had some knowledge on the software, so I showed a lot of interest. So basically, it was networking. And whenever I wrote my letter of interest, because this is something very big here in Germany, you need to send a letter of interest. I already mentioned that I had done this, and this. I was interested in this topic. And yeah, so I let my contacts also know that I was applying and so on. So when I got to the interview point, I was already in contact with some people. But of course, for me, it was something so unachievable to work here. So I had to do everything in my head to be able to get the job. It was very I know I'm coming from outside also. I didn't speak much German back then. So it was, I did a lot of things to try to get to hold this opportunity. And I'm very, very glad that I did. Very happy.
Wow, that is very good to know. To be honest, yeah, this is very informative because sometimes we don't even think about the job searching preparation is not starting from after you finish your study. It's actually happen even when doing your study. Now I will also ask for Melvina because you mentioned about you sending out consolidation email. Could you share a little bit more about why you decide to do that?
Okay. I'm just looking any kind of opportunity. If there is a company that open position as a sustainable consultant, I will apply. But when there's company not opening about this position, I'm just like doing unsolicited application. I feel like at the time I know what I want to get this kind of position. I don't care what kind of the company at the time. I don't have any connection in this company. On the first time, I also did the interview in Germany. To be honest, like super, a bit like, yeah, I just like do what I believe at the time, just preparing some notes and all the stuff. Yeah, basically it's like finding a lot of journey to find this kind of position. And also I'm just looking at, yeah, some, how to say, when you go along the street, I found like a lot of new project have a get the DGNB certification or list certificate. I think there will be have some opportunity in Germany to that your project requires some kind of certification. That's why I'm just looking what kind of any opportunity that happen right now.
That is very interesting that you actually explore the job market by just observe your environment and knowing that green building was a big thing. Quick question though, what's the response rate for your email when you like how many people will respond to how many email you send out and how many people respond to you?
Oh, I never counting, but it's a lot. I send an email, but somehow there is also in the website they put it like an initiative bewerbung or unsolicited application in the website. Somehow some company also put it. Like I would say from 100% application, I just get like 15% of it reply my email. Some kind of interview, and during the interview that I want to figure out, somehow I got also invited by some interview that okay, this kind of expectation of sustainability quite totally different what I want. So that's, yeah, I'm figure out during the interview too.
Thank you. That is very
And sometimes I also like doing super brutally finding a company, like looking for the Google map, what kind of the company in this city, and then I just apply it from the email address that is from Google Map, for example.
Wow.
Because at this case, I need to move to Berlin because of personal reason. Yeah, that's why I'm looking close to my home in Berlin. Yeah.
That is actually very cool. I have never done it before, but yeah, this is the next level consolidation email. I definitely need to learn this tip. And the other thing I also want to just I know that both of you have shared about the application process a little bit, but I think interview is always the most challenging part. So could you also share a little bit about how you prepare your interview? I think Isabela have mentioned that she actually already make the connection, but just how in general how you're preparing to answer all the different questions. Maybe Melvina, do you want to? Yeah, please.
Oh, sorry. Please go ahead, Melvina.
Do I need to answer? Okay. For the interview, well, depends. Somehow interview cannot expect that what they will asking question to you. Somehow I got the interview a bit weird, like what are you doing when you are stressful? Like, okay, what's your hobby? Somehow the interview like get to know more about you. And what I'm preparing for interview, absolutely my portfolio and CV. In German, I'm also preparing some text in Germany that to remember what I can explain to her. But when I feel like I give up to answer in German, I'm just answer in English. And then for the interview also, I think taking a good rest before the interview is important. Whatever in the interview, we are still talking with people, so that's fine, I think, as long as you can answer. But somehow I cannot answer the question. I say that I don't know what kind of this kind of situation. Yeah, just be what you already. Yeah, just be yourself. Maybe in the interview.
Oh, thank you. This is very good to know because yes, while doing an interview can be very stressful, and in the German, while trying to do an interview in German is even more stressful. I know, Melvina, you have to drop to attend
Yeah.
a next meeting, but we will. So it's okay if I share your linking and contact information in the chat. So if people wanted to learn more about or follow up with you to learn more about your job searching, they can connecting you with LinkedIn. By the way, Melvina is very good in managing her LinkedIn account. If you follow connecting to her on LinkedIn, you will see all the course and all these social media promotion she have done, like self marketing over there.
Yeah, self-marketing, I would say, is also important. But I'm sorry, I have a German course and then I have another presentation for my German level. That's, yeah, I will be happy if someone wanna asking in the link, have a question in the link, and just let me know. Okay.
Thanks so much.
And see you.
For joining
Thank you
us.
for the time. Bye.
Okay, now
Then I know that Isabella touched on the interview a little bit, but maybe could you tell us a little bit about what your interview process was like?
oh
Yeah.
thank you.
For me, it was with two senior engineers here at Transsolar, and I didn't know them actually, so it was kind of like poof, surprise. And what I did to prepare was basically I tried to look up for all the questions that they could ask me from websites and so on. So very standard preparation mode. So what could they ask me that what do I need to prepare for? So, but at the end of the day, nothing that I prepared was actually what they asked me, because it was really spontaneous and kind of like a conversation, one-on-one conversation, not a lot of stressful. This happened also during Corona, so that's also this point that this was completely online, so I could hide my stress a little bit. It was very stressful. But basically what they asked me was why do I wanted to join Transsolar, what I could do for Transsolar, and what do I wanted to learn with Transsolar. And I think for me, this is still the question that it's kind of asked every year to keep going. So why do I want to work here still? What do I still want to learn? What can I do for them, right? And I think this is the most crucial thing whenever you're doing any interview processes, to make clear what can you do for them. It's not only what they can do for you, which has sort of benefits and so on, but to make clear what can you bring to the team, right? It's clear that you can do teamwork, because we also learn a lot this in IOST. You can do several things, but what are your strengths within the scope of the company? And in my case, I could highlight everything that I did for my master thesis. I could perform a lot of simulations. I had interest in learning more about this part of the engineering field. So this was also a catch-up, right? Something that helped me a lot.
That was a very good. Wow, that was very great. And thank you so much for sharing the detail about like what's the key question, because there's just so many like questions people may ask during the interview, but it's good to know like what you can find so many simple questions online, but what exactly will happen on the interview situation is vary from company to company. Then it's very good to know that it's very good that you actually share what they actually ask you, and then even just give people a little bit more advice about what they're actually looking for when you giving them an answer. Okay, thanks so much. Now we also wanted to open the conversation to everyone. If you have any other question. Okay.
So we did have one other question from Shalini, which was how long the job search phase lasted.
This was in Germany. That was the first I applied for other companies while I was at ISD. It took me like 2 months, more or less, 3 months, but for an internship, not for a full-time position. In Denmark, I lived in Denmark before living here in Germany. It took me a while. It took me a bit longer, and maybe I was doing something wrong with my resume. I was not so prepared before, but since I had just arrived in Europe, it took me a bit more. It took me around 4 to 5 months. And out of all the applications that I made, I had a response of 30%. But the market in Denmark is very, very competitive. And I didn't have a master diploma back then. So this was also played, I think, in my opinion, a big role.
So yeah, we'd invite everyone still on the call with us to, pull questions. I think Isabel has agreed that, to be a bit open with you all today. I have actually a question which I know could be a little personal in nature, but what was it that made you want to stay and work in Europe versus going back to your home country? I think that since a lot of us are international graduates, this is something we wrestle with. Of course, there's this visa we're given after we graduate, but what were some of those reasons for you?
There was personal reasons. My husband's also here in Europe. He was also working back then. But I think for me, the type of work I am doing right now, I don't think I would do in Brazil because there's no market at the moment for that, I think, or at least I'm not aware of. I think the thing about Europe is that I'm learning a lot. Maybe one day I go back and bring this also to my context and to help my people somehow. But right now, I think the things that I can do here, I couldn't do there, or it would be a different path to learn this. I would need to do other things, or it would take me other sort of it would bring me other challenges. That's what I meant. I think it's my very much wish to do a project in Brazil with Transsolar. We did one last year. It was really great, and I saw the challenges also to work in a different context. We have projects all over the world in lots of countries, and it was one of my first projects outside Europe, for instance, and it was in Brazil, and it was so great, this collaboration. But at the end of the day, things comes out also with other challenges, right? So let's see, maybe we can improve this network in the future, and I'm very looking forward to that. And maybe we can also have other partners in Brazil. Let's see. But those coming from Latin America, we understand there's a safety issue. There's so many different things. And then I decided to stay here because it was a great opportunity, and I felt safe walking on the street and so on. It's a different challenging. It's great. I love it, but it's complicated also to live in Brazil, as people coming from Latin America can relate, I imagine.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. This is really insightful, and I think it probably also resonates with many people as well. So I also have a question. So since you have mentioned that you're starting your internship while you're still studying, so just how you balance between, because when I was studying at USD, I feel like I can't take any internship at all because I just want to graduate on time. But how you balance between, your study and your work and able to successfully transition after you graduate?
It was tough. It was very tough, I think. I think very good planning. So I planned my day, my schedule, what I was going to do per day, and so on, to be able to distribute equally the load of everything. And this only happened when I worked before, because when I started here in Transsolar, I had already finished my master's. So I was only in the presentation phase. I think it was September 2021. So it did not overlap my master thesis and my position here. However, I worked with another German company before. It was an interior architecture office for 2 or 3 months. And this was a bit more challenging then. So I was not working full time, for example. I had to reduce my working load. And I think it's fine. We also have some interns here, and when they are studying, they also do reduced work. And I think the amount of work you're giving is also compatible with the amount of time you have. So it's very well balanced, I would say. You have this opportunity to be balanced.
Thank you. That is very good to know because yeah, some of them will, at least when I was studying, I feel like it's almost impossible, but it's very good to know that you also share a little bit insight that's possible to balance between in study and work in the same time. Also, what kind of advice you give to someone who is currently and still doing their master to help them better preparing their career? So because I think that you have a almost like very seamless transition from after graduate to your current job. So what kind of thing other master student can also do to help themselves be able to successfully connecting to the next stage of their career after they graduate?
I think one of the most great things about IOSG is that you're able to do so many things for your master thesis. You're not strict to a certain topic. We are able to basically do whatever we want to do within the sustainability scope. So I think it's if you want to work with sustainability, it's interesting that you choose something that is related to sustainability, ecological sustainability in this sense, right? Not social or economical. So you can apply this later. So try to learn something that you can sell as a product maybe, or you can give yourself as a skill that can increase your resume as well. This is what I try to enjoy my passion with this vulnerable project, something that I do in my volunteer time and so on, with something that I wanted to learn, which is how do I evaluate outdoor comfort? How can I understand the perceived temperature? How can I do all these calculations? And how can I assess them? It's not only pressing the buttons, you also need to understand the engine behind it. So this is what I try to do during my master's. If I have anything to say to someone who's proposing their master thesis now, is try to be objective with what you want to do in the future. Then you try to tailor your research into something that will help you achieve that.
Thank you. That's very good to know. And I think that probably also the interest of I think, well, last week we have Mohammed join us, and he's doing the PhD research on like how to teach urban planning, how to frame the course of urban planning to help people learn better. And I think what you share is very relevant. And sometimes when I was in IUSD, I feel like it's so broad. I didn't know how to pick what I'm wanting to do for my next semester. But it's also very true that you actually need to plan while you're selecting your course during your ISD. You also kind of start to crack your career path as well. Actually, now, yeah.
I have a question that I think our shy group here might be wondering about, but this prickly question about salary. Isabela, have you had to do salary negotiation, or were you given an offer and that's still the same range that you're at? Or, are you prepping for that soon? And if so, how?
Very funny. I have my salary discussion this week. But this happens every year. So you basically, there is an entry level, which is kind of the same for everybody. And it goes along with how your skills also develop, how is your performance. And I think this is the truth for every company, it's not only here. And I think Anna, I was trying to ask something since a while. She's taking out and on her. Yeah.
Yes, hello everyone. Was a little bit difficult to jump in and I didn't find the hand to raise it. Let me see if I can put my camera on. Yeah. Hi. Thank you very much, Isabela, for the whole information. And since always, I have found Transsolar very interesting company. I also know it from our studies. I think we had in our intake 9 a couple of projects with them. I want to ask you actually, how did you acquire these specific skills and knowledge for doing some of these measurements of carbon footprint or climate simulations? Was that something that you learned through your job there, because you started as an intern and then you were somehow like there had the possibility to learn, or did you have to take additional courses or trainings besides work to become kind of an expert in these topics that we didn't have so much in detail in our master studies?
That's a really good question, actually, and I think it's really relevant what you asked. So when I entered, there was a process of onboarding, which is basically someone took me by the hand and explained to me several things and how we did several things. I was kind of tutored by several experts within different fields. One of them was embodied carbon, for instance, and apart from that, I also did a Fortbildung, so this continual education that I think IEP, people who's doing IEP also need to do that. So I also did took external courses and so on. Transsolar support me on that. There's also internal workshops where someone who's expert in this or this field teaches us how they do it. There's also conversation rounds that we do within the company where we share our doubts, or we need some support, or if you need something, you can just go to your next engineer or your expert, your local expert, and try to solve your question, right? What I think is really beautiful is like there is several companies here in Germany. Transsolar is not different from this, that they have a flat hierarchy which you can approach anyone at any time. You can request, hey, do you have 5 minutes? Can you please explain me that? Or how do we do that? Or do you think I could do this in some other way, right? So yeah, there is, it was sort of like a learn in the goal process. I had a nice introduction of everything when I arrived. And then from that on to become expert myself, it took me several projects, working and learning from other people and having feedback and so on. I think this is the truth for every consultant job, right?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I have another question, which is actually, someone was asking me recently. So, how you selecting? Because it looked like you have done many different kind of project before you apply for Transsolar. So, how you narrow down your resume when you? Because I do you did mention that when you preparing for Transsolar, you already know many people and you have done a couple projects. Can you also share a little bit detail about how you craft your resume when you doing your application?
Yes. So I think it really depends on the country. I will say what happens for Germany. In Germany, they don't like long resumes. It's maximum 2 pages if you have 10 years of experience. If you're fresh out of uni, it's 1 page. And just share whatever is extremely important. So like things like if you have like a master degree, you don't need to share whatever you had graduated in high school. That makes no sense, right? And the way I tailor my resume, for instance, I try to get from my previous experience what could be interesting for Transsolar and highlight that. So there is bullet points that you can use in the resume that you just highlight what you did for this company. And within this, what you did, try to make sure that is something that is relevant for the position that you're applying. And you just get that from either the announcement of the position, the bewerben, either from the description of the position and so on, So I think this is the most important. Sometimes we try to just pack everything we can inside of resume, and it's not. Nobody has the time to read 3 pages resume. That's like only for a person with PhD and 20 years of experience. If you don't have that, you don't need 3 pages of resume for sure.
Thank you. That is very useful. Yeah. So I think we also have another question from Nadine. Nadine, do you want to ask the question yourself, or you want me to read the question out for you?
Thank you for the presentation. I just had one question. If Isabella can recommend any online courses for CO2 emission assessment and climate analysis, that would be great.
Yes, I can share some links later. There is on YouTube, there is the Transsolar page where we have several lectures on daylight, on outdoor comfort, on everything. We also sometimes use this to train our interns. So basically, you also getting the information that we also share with the prospects that we get. It's free, so you can just go to the YouTube and check, just type Transsolar, and there's the Transsolar Academy, and you will see the lectures there. Each one of them is around 2 hours, and I'm pretty sure the climate analysis is in the middle of them. For the embodied carbon, I would say you can try the One Click Academy. I think Aya, hi Aya, she did that also recently. So it's free, you can just go to the platform. There is the assessment, how do you do the assessment, within which norms, what do you need to understand from embodied carbon and so on. And yeah, and I think they even give you 1 month of trial period to test the software, because it's a software company that do this embodied carbon analysis. So you can try to go there. It's really good. It's really good material. They have either in German and in English.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's One Click LCA, and then you can look for One Click Academy, something like this.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. Do we have any other questions from our attendees? Y'all are a little shy today. But thanks. So yeah, as Isabella said, we'll send a follow-up email with some links that she just mentioned and the contact information, if you're comfortable, Isabella, for people to reach out to with questions. But yeah, Lynn, I think we could just probably wrap and show people what we have coming up. But yeah, I just want to give a big round of applause, virtual applause for our speakers. Thank you.
You're welcome. And please
Okay.
reach out if you have any questions.
Thank you. Yeah, and actually, I also recently have a conversation with Isabella, because with my current work, I'm also interested on doing climate passive design and sustainable building as well. So I have reached out, and she have shared tons of expertise about Transsolar's work and what kind of software is kind of like industrial well known, and that I should check out with. And thanks for everyone who attend today's section. So here you can scan the QR code to join our website and sign up for the next section. And for the next session will be again at the last Tuesday of each month, which will be July 30th, that we will talk about urbanism work, but for local municipal worker. We have speaker Melvina. She's currently at the private sector, but mostly working for municipal government as well in Germany. So if you're interested, please make sure that you put this on your calendar, and hopefully we'll see you again at July 30th.
And I would just add, even if you're working in one of these sectors already, we hope we'll see you again, because a lot of this work is connected, and sometimes you never know what opportunities are going to come knocking later down the road. So yeah, hopefully we will see you all next month in July, and also on the new platform.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Hope you all have a good evening. Oh, by the way, it's possible that we can all turn on our camera to take a that's screenshot, like a group picture, Zoom group picture. Here's my screen.
Yes, let's do that if people are willing. I think you're still screen sharing though, Lynn.
I'm still screen sharing,
Yeah, I can see your
Okay.
screen still.
but I hope I can just use the sneak tool to capture. So if everybody's ready to turn on your camera, I'm going to do a screen grab. 1, 2, 3.
Maybe do one more. Do like 3, 2, 1, because I don't know if all of us were smiling.
Okay, one more time. If anybody know a better way to do this, I'll
Yeah, that was better.
thanks everyone. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank you
everyone.
all.
For the
Also,
invitation.
bye.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.